sometimes, if you're clever, you can just ninja it. Like there's this one later on in an Etin cave with like a veteran mob at the end, and I just used my abilities to just immobilize the veteran Etin and lock him in place, and I just ran and just grabbed it and legged it away. I mean, I'm sure that's not how it was intended to be done, but I mean, I showed my skill, my ability to just lock the guy in place and just grab it. But yeah,
it's a solution.
It's a very good system because it's a matter of you don't just get these and then you unlock the next thing in your tree. You get a huge choice of what abilities you get. It's actually kind of daunting how many choices you get, because you get 4 optional hills you can take. So in total, or is it 3? It's either 3 or 4 hills you can take. So you've got like a choice of 4 or 5 different hills you can take, which will do different things. And then you've got like this list of like 30 or so just different abilities. But only 4 slots those go in, or 3, and then you've got an ultimate one as well, which you can choose. And it's a very cool system because it's you have to save up skill points to get the higher level ones, and there are some which cost like up to 8 skill points or something, which is very difficult to get. Like you do get some skill points, I think, just leveling up occasionally.
Yeah, you do.
So it's not.
I don't know when, but you do.
Yeah, it's not just a matter of you have to do these skill challenges in order to get them, but you have to save up if you want to get some of the better ones, and you've got a lot of choice on what you want to do.
There's plenty of places to get the skill points. I mean, after you've done your starting area, you can go to another starting area and get all theirs.
Yeah. It's not a difficult thing to get. In fact, it's sort of it's actually counted in the game as a bit of a challenge because every zone has 3 things you can go around and collect. You've got points of interest, which are just that, places on the map where you can go, and it's sort of a cool little place to have a look at. Waypoints, which are just teleportation points, and then the skill challenges.
Can I just, on the subject of waypoints, waypoints are awesome. Thank God that there's an MMO that's introduced this thing where you just go, okay, you need to be over there. Just pay a little bit of money, teleport there instantly. No pissing around, flying for 20 minutes.
Oh God.
You don't even have to actually be at a waypoint to use a waypoint. Once you've unlocked that waypoint, you can just go there from the map. You open
as long as you're not in combat.
Yeah. Obviously, you can't just teleport out while you're in a combat. If you're getting owned in the face, you go, map, run away! I did try it once, but no. What was that, Lorna?
One thing that I did notice about waypoints is, I was getting absolutely besieged by centaurs in the human one.
Yeah.
Like, it was literally, there was about 4 or 5 of us just in the area, and there was like 20 centaurs all just killing us. We couldn't port in to the closest waypoint because apparently it's a combat zone.
Right,
so
yeah.
there was no one around us to revive us, but we had to leave the event fully and walk for about 5 minutes to get back.
Yeah, that's actually... I quite like that idea because it's a matter of the world is actually constantly changing. Doing these events will actually affect the world. There are some like that where, for example, centaurs will siege a keep, and if they take the keep, the new events come up to retake that keep. So you can go there and do the things you could do. Like, there was this one in the Norn starting area where I spent probably about half an hour trying to besiege this keep and take it back, just so I could buy a new weapon, because I wanted to try out one of the weapon things. In the end, I just gave up, because every time we got in there, we'd get pushed back and we'd lose the point again. But as that's happening, it happens in the PvP as well. As that's happening, you lose the ability to teleport to the waypoints, and you have to actually take the place back before you can use those waypoints again. So again, that's something where controlling the map, even from just mobs, makes a difference on how you play the game, because it affects your ability to transport around.
Just remember, going back to the Centaur assaulting the keep one. I'm thinking we're thinking of the same event, but I had that happen, and I don't know what. I think it might be bugged or something because events are supposed to scale depending on the people in the area, right?
Yeah.
But we had like 3 people defending the keep, and we had like literally waves of like 20, 30 centaurs that were just destroying us, like utterly destroying us.
Yeah, it's a bit weird because the game is a bit finicky at the moment because there's just so many people in the zones. I think
it's a beta thing.
Yeah, it scales to how many people are actually in that particular zone, so not necessarily how many people are defending the keep, it's how many people are there that if they wanted to, they could go and defend the keep. So it's actually a matter of if a keep is getting attacked, everyone has to chip in, otherwise it will get taken because there aren't enough people to defend it. Which is probably what you're experiencing.
It's bringing out the working together kind of things. Because I know lots of people just soloed through the entire game. But I like the way it does bring the community together to actually work together to do it.
You literally cannot solo through the game because the main bulk of the XP comes from doing these events, which are defending places, attacking other places, doing events with loads of other people.
And in some cases, world bosses. Like I know there's an example. I'm not exactly sure where it is, but it's something I've seen in the pre-release footage. There's like one way you basically push like this undead army like through a series of events. You push them back to the sea, which is where they came from. And when you get there, basically the leader of the army comes out, and he's like a ridiculously huge undead dragon thing, and it's essentially a world boss. You need so many people to take that guy down.
I fought something like that at the end of the starting zone of the Norns. Like right at the top, there's like some big boss, and you need loads of people to kill it.
I do like that idea. It's very.
It is very cool that doing a chain of events will eventually lead to something that, unless there's loads of you there working together to do it, you won't succeed. You just have no chance of doing so.
The only bad thing is when it's down the line and no one's playing the starting zones, are they going to be able to kill that? Probably not.
I think, like we say, it's a matter of how many people are in the zone. So, although you need a lot of people, it's in relation to how many people are actually there. So the less people are actually there, the less people you'll need. It will still be a matter of basically everyone will have to participate or you won't do it. But it's just
I'm pretty sure they'll be keeping an eye on things to make sure the scaling's working okay and that it isn't too much of a problem.
Yeah, that is something I should hope they do, because I've seen a few things like at the start, because I know I've experienced at least a couple of events where at the start we're just getting totally owned because there just aren't enough of us there to do it, but then after a minute or two loads of people will come in and we'll just start winning, and that's really what it is, because it's a matter of everyone has to come and defend it or you'll lose.
I feel there's a problem. Again, it's beta is beta, and it's a problem because it's a beta event and that you're limited to 20, so there's a huge concentration of people in these early zones. But so this in theory won't be a problem in the live game, but I do feel there's a problem with the maximum scaling, because it just gets to a point where it's not a challenge, it's just pure zerging.
It's kind of ridiculous. There's a lot of footage I got, at least, of these things that scaled up. There's a lot of events like this one to defend a place where there was just so many people because it was the first day of the beta. It was about probably half an hour in, and there was just so many people there. It was basically unplayable. The FPS was dropping to about 2 constantly because there was just so many people there doing so much stuff.
Yeah, they need to optimize that, because even like people with really beast PCs are experiencing massive frame loss.
Yeah, like
they have said that currently the beta build is not optimized at all, and the actual graphic settings don't really do anything. Like turning up or down doesn't change much. They're working on the optimization at the minute.
Me and Gora both have pretty decent computers. Obviously we don't have top of the line.
I don't.
not rich, but like both of us were having serious FPS problems in those places, and that is just
the explicit.
Yeah.
The explicit one is in one of the char starting zones. We had to fight these guys in the lake, and there was just so many people there. It was on like 5 FPS, I think. There was just fire raining down from the sky. It was ridiculous.
It's fine when you're off on your own, but the more people there and dropping spells, the worse it gets.
I do feel maybe. I was gonna say I do feel while it looks nice, some of the spells in Guild Wars are a little bit particle heavy.
Yeah.
Like they're really flashy for what they do, and it can kind of obscure things a lot.
Yeah, I know what you mean. What were you gonna say, Lorna?
It only seems to happen, I've noticed, when someone, like, an enemy has popped up and everyone's egging it.
Yeah.
Only that, and it becomes blinding as well.
Yeah, it's
you can't actually see the enemy.
It's basically impossible to see what's going on. Like, I've recorded probably at least 2 or 3 of those sorts of bosses that are just... They're not really a challenge. It's just a matter of they've been scaled up so much, and there's so many people there that it takes you forever to do, and there's so much stuff you like. There's this one boss, which might be the one you were talking about in the char starting area, a fire shaman or something.
Yeah, I think it was that guy.
Yeah, who will summon like these zones, which you have to get out of, or he fires like breath or something that you have to get out of, or it will one-shot you. And there's just so many people there that you just can't see what's going on to avoid that.
Yeah, because what they've gone with the indicators, like for like big party fights and stuff. Basically, when an AOE goes down on the ground or whatever, it has like almost like a chalk outline around it. And if it's white, it's friendly. If it's red, it's enemy. And sometimes with the amount of particle effects going off, it's really hard to see those circles on the ground.
Yeah. It's not so much the circles I have a problem with, because most of the time, even when there's a lot of stuff going on, you can sort of still make those out, provided you're zoomed out enough and you're actually paying attention to the ground and looking at the ground. But that boss, I don't think, did one of those. It was a matter of he'd aim at you and he'd do this plume of fire, which if you get hit, you die. And just because there's so many people there throwing so many effects, you can't see him stop and channel those abilities in order to dodge it.
The tells.
Yeah. So I think it really needs to be toned down a bit. Like, they're very pretty, but like the secondary, I think, Elementalist ability summons a giant rock which will smash down on the target.
You talk about the one that's like it's like a point of fire basically, and then just drops down into the ground.
Drops down and throws stuff everywhere and just makes a giant mess and probably does about 12 damage.
It's actually really effective. It is the most effective fire spell on the Elementalist.
Yeah,
it's a fun spell.
It's just so over the top. Like, it's very nice looking and all that, but it's just a matter of that sort of stuff. I don't know if there's going to be raid bosses later on, if you're going to have 40-man raid bosses, etc.
No, you're not. The content they've announced is basically the big-ass raid bosses that people would expect. Those will be world bosses. If you're looking for that, you need to find world bosses. All the like dungeon stuff will be 5-man, or is it 4-man? I can't remember.
I think 5, but
at the minute there are no plans for like big 40-man raid dungeons or anything. If you want raid stuff, you have to go and find a world boss.
Yeah.
That reminds me of something I want to try, which I didn't get around to, which is World v World v World, all that stuff. That's gonna be awesome.
I did actually get a chance to do that, but we'll talk about the people.
Find out how.
It's really quite complex to get into, but it's I mean, still, even with that, like, raid bosses, well, not so much raid bosses, world bosses, if there's going to be 40 odd people attacking these things, if there's stuff even at higher level which will one-shot you if you don't avoid it, when there's like...
There is.
And there's like even 5 elementalists throwing down all that stuff, unless the boss is huge and will just go over all of that, then they have to do something, because you just can't see what's going on. I don't know, it's impossible to see what's happening, so unless you've got some kind of other way to avoid it, or they have to put something in which makes it more obvious that they're doing it, or tone down those abilities, I think.
I would agree with that.